This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day in Nacogdoches. Thank you for joining our Nacogdoches County Chamber Stakeholder Conference call. We'll be starting soon with a feature presentation, but I'd just like to remind everyone, we do record these calls, so you can access that on the Chamber's YouTube channel. Feel free to share the information. We also have invited our media friends to join us, so just be aware of that as you're giving your reports. And I'll introduce myself. I'm Kelly Augustine, the President and CEO of the Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce. This conference call has been going for several years now. We even have a wonderful business who has chosen to sponsor this call, and that's Burke. So thank you, Burke, for supporting this information sharing opportunity. In fact, today we're going to have a presentation by Burke from Stephanie Yates. She's a director there at the Burke Center, and she is involved in the work with intellectual and developmental disability. Stephanie, I wasn't really aware of this, so I went to the Burke website yesterday and perused some of that information. You have a good resource there online, but I'm really interested to hear what you're going to tell our members, our business community, and really our region, whoever wants to check in on this subject. So welcome, Stephanie. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, I'll briefly introduce Stephanie since I didn't send a bio to Kelly. And we had been shooting each other questions back and forth, but I missed that one. But Stephanie Yates is our director of IDD operations. So like Kelly said, intellectual and developmental disability operations. And Stephanie will tell you what that exactly means. She came to Burke after graduating from Stephen F. Austin in rehabilitation services as a service coordinator. She has been with Burke for almost 24 years and has worked in the various IDD programs at Burke. In 2022, she received her master's in public administration from Liberty University, and in October 2023 moved into her current position. She is married to Mike Yates with R&K Distributing, and she has 3 children. She currently lives in Lufkin and enjoys spending time with her family.
So good morning. As Kenny said, my name is Stephanie Yates, and I am the director of the IDD operations. March is IDD Awareness Month, and so every year there is a theme, and this year's theme is a world of opportunities. We're celebrating people and working together to remove obstacles, and our goal is to build a community that's committed to creating a world where everyone can do well and succeed. So what is IDD? We get that question a lot. Some may remember IDD as what was formerly known as mental retardation. And in 2010, Rosa's Law was passed, and that changed the diagnosis and terms used because of the negative connotations of mental retardation. IDD, it's an intellectual and developmental disability, and it can include some severe chronic conditions that are generally due to mental and or physical impairments. So some of these individuals with IDD, they may have language, mobility, learning, self-help, and independent living issues. They just may need a little more help than others. So Burke is committed to providing services to our individuals with IDD. And there are quite a few services available. And I will say now we do use a lot of acronyms, and so I apologize if I do not spell them out. But Burke is the local intellectual developmental disability authority, or the LIDA. You can see why we use so many acronyms because that is a mouthful. It serves as the point of entry for IDD services for an individual to access services from a public or a private entity. As the LIDA, we provide service coordination in order to link individuals to services needed, and it assists the family as well. And there are 3 main Medicaid funded programs that are available to individuals with IDD. I'm going to use the acronyms at first just because they are so big. ICF, IDD is one of the programs, HCS and Texas Home Living, and I will explain further about those programs. But to qualify, an individual must have a diagnosis of IDD or a related condition and be eligible for Medicaid and not be enrolled in another Medicaid funded program. But the first I mentioned was an ICF, IDD, and that's an intermediate care facility for individuals with IDD or related condition. And this program provides residential and habilitation services. But to receive these services, the individual has to live in the group home. In Nacogdoches, and actually in all of Nacogdoches County, there is only one ICF group home, and that is in Nacogdoches. It's provided by Burke. It is a 12-bed facility, and it is co-ed. You may have driven by it. It's on the South Loop there in Nacogdoches across from the new truck stop. I will say personally that is my favorite group home. The individuals there are a lot of fun. But most other of our facilities are 6-bed facilities. That is our only 12, and there's not very many large ICF facilities in the state anymore. Now, I did say there's only one in Nacogdoches. There are a few in Lufkin, and we have one in Pineland also. They are heavily regulated and monitored, more like a nursing facility. So, as you can imagine, lots of rules to follow. Now, when most people think of group homes, they think of institutions or white walls. Most people are surprised when they come into our group homes because it looks just like your home. It looks like my home. Auditors even comment that our homes look like something out of Better Homes and Gardens. And trust me, we will take those compliments any day. But in this program, individuals, they learn independent living skills. So potentially they could live on their own with supports in the future. We want to teach. We don't want to do for them. We want them to learn. Now, I will say this program is generally easy to access, but it's not always available in the area of choice. Hence, Nacogdoches only has one group home. But there are usually beds available, but the average state rate of beds filled is generally about 80%, and that holds true for us as well. So we always have openings in our ICF group homes. Now, the other program, or the second program I want to talk about is the HCS program, or the Home and Community-Based Services Program. And this Medicaid waiver program supplies services and support so the individual can live in the community. And these services are intended to supplement instead of replacing services or supports. And when I say that, it just means that families that are providing a service already, such as transportation to the doctor or whatever, that we're not taking over that. We want to assist where needed. But some of the services available, it's residential services like a group home or host home, companion care. It also has respite services, ISS, which is individualized skills and socialization. And yes, I hate that acronym because all I think about is in-school suspension. Employment services, nursing, dental, behavioral support, minor home mods, which can help a family if they need to install a wheelchair ramp, they need to widen some doors, they need to make the bathroom accessible for their family member. That can help. Adaptive aids are also a pretty big service, such as vitamins, things that may not be covered by their insurance. So you can see that service, that's a pretty big program. And it has the potential to provide a lot of services for the individual so that they can remain in the community. But the deal is the waiting list for that program is so long. It is 10 to 15 years. And when you think about that, families aren't thinking 10 to 15 years down the road. So we really try to tell families if you have an individual with developmental disabilities, go ahead and get on the list. Every 2 years, you're going to ask, do you want to stay on the list? And you say, yes, I want to stay on the list. Because when the time comes and your name comes up, then you can decide, do you need that service? But what you don't want is to need that service and then get on the list and you've got a long wait. So unfortunately, that is the drawback of that program, but it has so many services available for those individuals. And one of the biggest things that we see is for individuals, once they turn 18, the family can be contracted as a provider. So instead of them going to a group home, we would contract with that provider, or another provider would contract with them to provide that service. And so, they're not just mom and dad anymore. They are the contracted provider. So they give meds, they do notes, and provide transportation, things they normally would do, but they get paid for it. So that is an aspect that families really like, because generally when your child turns 18, they go off to college or whatever, and this just provides some financial um, incentive to help those families keep their individuals at home. The other program we have is Texas Home Living. And that is very, very similar to HCS. It does not have the residential component. It has everything else like respite and things like that. And it just doesn't pay for as much. So a lot of people will get on Texas Home Living while they're waiting for HCS, but even Texas Home Living has a wait list, just not near as long as Texas Home Living. So what we find is sometimes if someone's needing services immediately, they will they'll admit into one of the ICF group homes and then just wait until their name comes up on the list. As I was talking about the ISS, or individualized skills and socialization, uh, this was once known as DayHab, or workshops, and we do have one in Nacogdoches. It's on University Drive, and that just gives our individuals an opportunity to get out. We go to work, they go to work, they go to the workshop, they learn skills, they have the chance for inclusion in the community, and then just I can't talk, I'm sorry, socializing with friends. And that's a pretty big deal for them. We've also, through that program, we have an apprenticeship program, and that will probably only go for another year, but it's a paid apprenticeship. And so one of the things our individuals are wanting jobs in the community. They want competitive employment. The days of sheltered workshops where sub-minimum wage, those have gone away, and they are wanting to get out there. They're wanting to get a job. They want to have that experience. And so the apprenticeship program has really been a nice way for us to be able to get in our feet in the door and experience or I guess let our individuals experience what it's like. And it's paid through the grant, so the employers are getting free labor while they're teaching these individual skills, and they get classroom training. And then once that program ends, we're really going to be working more on our employment, pre-employment, because like I said, our individuals are really wanting to get out there and work. And I can say I have never seen more dedicated employees who never want to call in. They always want to be there, and they generally have a smile. But those are our main programs. We do also operate the PASSAR, which is the pre-admission screening and resident review, and that's through our nursing facilities. They just make sure that individuals that are in these nursing facilities, it's an appropriate placement for them, and that if it's not, that we're working to get them in the community, because we do want our individuals to live in the least restrictive environment. So I know I just sped through a lot of our services, and there's so many, and my dad still asks me, what do you do? And so it changes constantly. But why is IDD awareness so important? Since the name has changed from mental retardation, a lot of people don't know what IDD is. And due to funding shortages, providers are having to close their doors, which decreases the number of opportunities for our services for our individuals. I'm going to tell you all this. The state rate for direct care workers is only $10.60. That's what our rate allows us to pay. Now, of course, we have to pay more than that. But who are you going to hire for $10.60 at this point? So in order to attract better workers, we do increase our wages, but then we have that balancing act because the rate only covers so much. And we are serving a vulnerable population, and direct care workers are our boots on the ground. So I would say our funding is our biggest challenge, and the workforce shortage, which I know everybody experiences. And then the other challenge is that waiting list I mentioned earlier, the 10 to 15 year waiting list. So that's a long time for someone who needs services. But thank you for letting me have this opportunity to tell you about my program. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, while we're waiting on questions to come in, Stephanie, while you were talking, I was reminded every Leadership Nacogdoches participant goes through community services session. And one of the things that the session leaders emphasize are there is a workforce out there that you could, access. And so obviously you were touching on that. So if a business would like to contact you or someone at Burke to talk about the needs that they have, and if you could connect them to the right employee, how would that happen?
If they would contact our main office and just ask for me, Stephanie Yates, I would be happy to assist.
That's great. And this is available throughout our region, what you cover, correct?
Yes, we cover, through the IDD program, we cover a 12 county area.
Okay. Wow. It's really good. So does anyone else have questions for Stephanie?
Hey, Stephanie, this is Gary Lee Ashcraft with my dog. How many team members, employees, whatever, do you have in the IDD program?
How many employees?
Yeah.
It changes often because of turnover, but roughly about 200 by the time you cover all our residential, the day programs and direct care, the service coordination, habilitation coordinators.
Okay. And I can apply online?
Please.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And anybody can visit our website, myburke.org. And if you do hear of someone who's looking for a job, please send them. They can apply through.
That's great. Glad to have Asher on the call today, Gary Lee. That's wonderful. Well,
He
Stephanie,
just went into timeout.
Stephanie,
Yes.
I have a question. Is there a program that is for totally disabled kids that need constant care or any kind of contact information for places in Nacogdoches with kids like that?
Depending on the ages, with our ICFs, generally we do not serve individuals until they're 18, and the ICFs only because of the age ranges. We've talked about doing something for a children's home or something like that, but we have not done that yet.
This is actually older than 18.
Okay, older than 18. Yes, our ICF homes, they provide total care. We have some individuals in our services that are nonverbal, in a wheelchair, need assistance with feeding. The only difference is we do not, if someone has significant medical needs, we do not have a nurse in the home. We have nurses available at all times, but they're not in the home like in a nursing facility.
Say someone wants to get contact information about their child. Who would you send them to, and who would they talk to get more information on that?
I would definitely say our intake, and I can give you that information.
Okay.
Our intake number is 936-634-5010, or we also have a 1-800 number if anybody needs that. And if anybody just has questions, they are welcome to call me at any time, and I will give you my number. It's 936-552-1195.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Sure.
yes, thank you both. I know you made time for us today. There is a meeting gathering at Burke today, so we're going to let you go. Thank you again for sponsoring the call and for participating on the call today.
Thank you.
I wanted to just say, I was going to put in the chat, I've been following 321 Coffee, which is a coffee house that employs Down syndrome and ID only. And they have a webinar coming up May 2nd, where if you're interested in opening a business like theirs that employs ID, it's like a business model they're going to share with you, and it's a free thing. So if there's people on this, or if Stephanie, if you guys wanted more information. I mean, it's kind of from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but it's a nonprofit that helps the same population. So I was going to put the website in the chat.
That would be great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, and we may be contacting you about some other things. We'll see you around.
Please do.
Okay, moving on to our report from Stephen F. Austin State University. Today we have Dr. Trey Turner with us. He's the Associate Vice President for University Advancement. Hi, Trey. Welcome to our call.
Let me unmute. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Excellent. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Kelly. I did have just a few things, exciting things that are taking place here on campus. And not having been on one of these calls before, do we just go right into that, or?
Yes, you can share whatever you would like to. And as you saw from Gary Lee's report question, you can even bring in additional guests.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll kick off with just some exciting things that are taking place here over the next couple of days. So today is a particularly special day because today, later this evening, we'll be hosting the Nelson Rushi Distinguished Lecture Series. That'll be featuring Candace Nelson, who is the founder of Sprinkles Cupcakes and also a best-selling author, has some notable cookbooks. And she will be, that event will actually begin at 7:30 in the Grand Ballroom of the Baker Patillo Student Center. Admission is free, and I think we seat somewhere between 800 or 900 people. So those of you who have been to this before know that it's one of the two speaker series that are university wide that we bring in once a year, and usually it's very notable people. There's the Archie McDonald Speaker Series, and then there's the Nelson Rushi Distinguished Lecture Series. The difference between the two being the Nelson Rushi one generally focuses more on people with, who are in the business arena. So as it's tied to the Nelson Rushi College of Business. But that takes place tonight at 7:30 again in the Grand Ballroom. And then the UT system chancellor, James Milliken, is inviting members of the community, the local regional community, to a special reception next Tuesday, April the 2nd, between 4 and 6 p.m. In the Ed and Gwen Cole STEM building, the Nelson Atrium. This is a special reception for the new incoming president, Dr. Neil Weaver, and his wife, Christy Weaver. Again, that's Tuesday, April the 2nd, between 4 and 6 p.m. Ed and Gwen Cole STEM building, the Nelson Atrium, which is right as you walk in. And that is the first public meeting that Dr. Weaver will have on campus. And again, everyone is welcome, and there'll be refreshments and comments, and mainly an opportunity to visit with him privately and get to know him a little bit better. So we are very, very excited. Not just the campus community, but also the UT system is very excited as we welcome the Weavers to SFA and to Nacogdoches. Aside from that, those are the two main things that are coming up within the next week. Moving out a little further, the SFA Symphony Orchestra will be having its next performance also next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. in the Turner Auditorium, which is in the newly renovated and expanded Griffith Fine Arts Building. And if you haven't seen our symphony orchestra in a while, they are incredible. They have done an outstanding job over the years and are certainly worthy of that new facility that they have over there and the newly renovated Turner Auditorium. And then lastly, just from an athletic standpoint, the SFA spring game, which features our football team, our offense versus our defense, will take place on Saturday, April 27th at Homer Bryce Stadium. And I'm told that there's a number of events that will coincide with that. It's pretty much an all-day affair. But that's kind of what's going on in the next couple of days and over the next month. We're excited. This is the next chapter, the new chapter for SFA, and looking forward to it.
That was a great report, Trey. I know our board members as well as our business community are ready to welcome Dr. Weaver and his family to Nacogdoches. So thank you for sharing that. Does anyone have any other questions for Trey?
Hey Trey, I apologize. And I want to make sure I'm sorry. Was the event Tuesday night? Is that open to the public?
The symphony orchestra. I want to make sure that I heard you correctly. Are we talking about the president's reception?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is open to anyone and everyone.
Perfect.
Yeah, and you should see on social media platforms, if you go to SFA, you'll see the official invitation. It'll look a little different because this is actually an invitation to the entire community, and it's from the Chancellor of the UT system, James Milliken. But yeah, that's again, that's next Tuesday, April 2nd, between 4 and 6 p.m. It's a come and go type affair, and it's in the Nelson atrium of the Edwin Cole STEM building. So that's when you first walk in.
Thank you.
Hey, Trey. Holy cow. Do you have any idea, does the president hire the new athletic director?
It's my understanding that he will. And likely there'll be a committee that provides a recommendation. But yeah, if this is going to be like previous hires, yes, the president will hire.
Thank you, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you. Trey, we do these twice a month, so you're welcome to join us anytime.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I see Ashley Morgan, our Executive Director of Visit Nacogdoches, has joined the call. Ashley, what exciting news do you have to share?
Well, first and foremost, we hired our new creative content director. Her name is Natalie Dunn, and she's on this call right now. Natalie, can you give a wave? Good job. She knew before I even asked. See, that's why I love her so much. She's just ready to go. So she started last Monday, and she jumped right in, and she helped out with her first event last Friday or Saturday, sorry. We had our wine whiskey brew tour, our first one in 4 years, and it went great. We had planned to sell 40 tickets and we sold 35, so we're happy with that. And we're looking to see when we're going to have the next one. We're currently doing a survey with the attendees to see what we can improve. But keep an eye out for the next one. Hopefully it won't be too long. Let's see. Hotel occupancy was finally up in February after a couple months of being down. So we are very grateful for that. And it looks like it should continue increasing, at least for this spring season. So on a national level, though, I found out that we are not the only ones who were hurting a little bit. With inflation, it makes sense that a lot of people were reluctant to travel over the holidays. So we're hoping that spring brings lots of continued travelers. We've seen an increase in travelers inside the visitor center with the azaleas blooming. I'm sure it's no secret. You all have seen them by now. It was a spectacular azalea season, which we needed so bad after the last few years of various freezes, winter storms, and droughts and whatnot. But I just think that the azaleas are kind of a symbol of our resilience in the community, and we can overcome anything. And then let's see, the next big event is Wine Swirl on Saturday, April 13th. They have sold out of the wine and appetizer tickets online. So if you were hoping to get the ticket that has both wine and appetizer samplers, you'll have to get them in person. And they have them at the Fredonia Hotel, Rhinestone Rifles, Well Body Solutions, and I believe Red House Winery. Is that right, Erin? I believe Red House Winery. But tickets are still online or available online for just the wine only. So you haven't lost hope yet, but get them soon because they will likely sell out. The CVB is actually doing a ticket giveaway right now. I think we're launching it today. So, but we'll end it quickly on Thursday. So you have to be following Visit NAC on Instagram to be entered to win. So if you're interested in winning a pair of wine and appetizer tickets, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram and help us increase our follower count. And a lot of tourism departments are talking about the eclipse right now, and I just wanted to kind of give an update from the Nacogdoches point of view. Unfortunately, we are not on the path of totality. I say unfortunately, it might be a fortunately, depending on who you ask, because the towns that are on the path of totality are already claiming state of emergencies with traffic and people buying up the toilet paper and just the craziest stuff. You know, these things like this make people crazy. So I hate to say it, the tourism person should not say I'm glad that we're not, but I'm kind of glad that we're not going to deal with all of that stress. We are marketing Nacogdoches as a reprieve from the chaos, because you know you can drive to Tyler and participate in all of that if you want to, get stuck in traffic and you know, fight the crowds and things like that, or you can watch about 98% totality in Nacogdoches and Festival Park, where the library is going to be giving away free glasses and there will be food trucks and fun activities going on. So I think it'll be fun either way. I've seen it once before in Nashville and it was cool. If you want to make the drive, go for it. But if you don't want to deal with all that chaos, just stay right here in Nacogdoches and enjoy almost totality. And last but not least, we're in a strange predicament. The visitor center does bricks around the square, and I normally would not bring this to a group like this, but we're kind of having a really hard time finding a replacement person. So if anybody has any connections for a brick engraver, please send me an email to ashley@visitnacogdoches.org. That's a major fundraiser for us, and plus so many people want to memorialize, you know, their family and friends around the square, and right now we're just not able to take orders, unfortunately. We have some uncompleted orders that we're trying to get done. So if anyone has a connection like that, let me know. Or if you're interested in starting a brick engraving business, contact the Chamber of Commerce. And that concludes my report today.
Oh, that's great, Ashley. Good report. Fantastic. We're looking forward to a good year. Warmer weather, beautiful blooms, all that stuff. Anyone have a question for Ashley? Don't want to cut you off too soon. All right. Well, I do see Cassie Regal now. She is with Workforce Solutions, Deep East Texas. Hi, Cassie. What's the workforce?
Good morning. Thank you. I have a report today for our February labor market information data for Nacogdoches City and Nacogdoches County. So for February, the unemployment rate ended up being 5.4 for Nacogdoches City, and for Nacogdoches County, it ended up being 4.8. But some good news out of that, the labor force actually increased, as did the number of people that are employed. And again, unemployment increased as well. But there are still plenty of jobs for people that want to have a job. And fortunately, Workforce Solutions works with several different grants from TWC to help people get prepared for those jobs with training, with equipment that they may need, steel toe boots, things like that. So that we offer so many different resources, and we're very eager to help everyone get back to work if they need to. Another thing that I'd just like to quickly mention is our Texas Conference for Employers, which will be on May 17th at the Fredonia Hotel. I'll add the registration link to the chat, as well as just to remind everybody about the Teacher Externship Project. We're accepting those applications from teachers to participate on the week of June 10th through 14th with some of our employers. I know Nacogdoches, we've got NIPCO participating as well as NACSpace, so we're very excited about that. If you all know any teachers that would like to participate and to earn that stipend, we would love to have them. So that concludes what I have.
Cassie, just to clarify, those teacher externships are for middle school and high school teachers only and counselors, correct?
Yes, so actually they've opened it up this year. So middle, high school counselors, it could be administrators, CTE directors. So they've kind of broadened the scope of who can apply.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question and great report, Cassie. Anyone else have any questions or comments for Cassie? Okay, well, We have Nacogdoches Area United Way on our agenda. I don't see Caroline, but does anyone else need to give a report for the United Way work in our area?
I can give that report. I'm the intern here at United Way.
Thank
So
you,
we
Kate.
are working still on our Gift 5 that is going to be launching on April 30th. We have been getting applications for the nonprofit organizations that are going to be a part of that. So we are so excited to have those coming in. I think we have 5 so far. We have some meetings coming in, and then we will be at the Nacogdoches Senior Center on April 12th at their health fair to start promoting for volunteers to come to start that class. Also, we have the Do Dat Barbecue that's going to be on April 27th that is coming up. And we're really about to start promoting a little harder on that since we're getting into April. So right now we have about 15 competition teams signed up, and we hope to continue to get a lot more as we start promoting. I believe advertising on radios are about to start either this week or next week. So we are very excited about that Do Dat Barbecue. So if anybody wants to compete in that, be sure to put your application in. And then as of now, the sponsors for this to be on the signs have already closed. But if somebody's wanting to sponsor and give any donations, we're willing to work something out for that. And that's really all that I have for our update as of now. Oh, last thing. Today at Jalapeno Tree, we have United We Dine for lunch and dinner. A proceed of that will go back into United Way, and that has partnered with several different jalapeno trees in the East Texas area, and we are excited to be one of those.
Yes, I have jalapeno tree on my to-do list. Thank you, Kayla.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions for United Way?
Hey, Kayla, I do. Anita from the Expo Center. I actually had the Do Dat on my calendar of events to mention, but I wanted to ask you. You said y'all have 15 teams right now signed up. How many teams are you accepting?
We did not discuss with Richard yesterday on how many we are accepting. I know that there are several others that are in the talks about it, but I can get what the cap on the teams are going to be and then get back with you.
Okay, and then what about vendors? Are your vendor spots filled? Do you know?
No, we are still accepting vendor spots.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, from Nacogdoches Independent School District, we have Les Linebarger, Communications, on the call with us. Les, would you like to join us?
I will. Thank you very much, Kelly. Thanks for having me on. Hey, the school year is progressing rapidly, and we're almost into April, which means we're going to blink our eyes and it's time for graduation. In fact, right after the 1st of April, our final 6-week grading period will begin, which, I mean, once you reach that point, it just slides away in a hurry. I do want to mention one of our power lifters from Nacogdoches High School, Andrew Rogers. He won the Class 5A, 6A state championship Saturday in the 270-pound weight class. Andrew, who's a senior, and he's just an outstanding kid. He lifted a total of 1,860 pounds in 3 lifts, and to claim that state title. And next year, to no surprise here, Andrew's going to be playing college football for Southern Arkansas University. So he's got a lot of wonderful things to come in his near future. And just for the school district, over the next several weeks, we've got so many end of year activities that are taking place. The Senior Scholarship Assembly, CTE Student Signing Day, and other things that are going to be featured. And these sorts of activities feature some of our best students, and it goes a long way in restoring my faith in the future of the Republic, that's for sure. And that leads into something about our Education Foundation, which has a role in some of these events as well. So I want to hand this off to our Foundation's Executive Director, Erin Wyndham. Erin?
Hey, yes, we have a couple of things in the mix right now. The Nacogdoches Education Foundation is in year 2 of raising money and then turning around and giving it back to our teachers to improve things that are happening in the classroom and take some pressure off of teachers spending their own money to be able to try things. Our board president is actually on the call, Terrence Reeves. Hey, Terrence, thank you for all you do for us. Currently, we've just closed the grant window, picked some grants that we're going to award to some teachers, and that'll be happening in the first week of April. And then May 9th, we have our NEF Scholars Banquet, which honors our top 20 high school seniors, and each one of them gets to honor their most influential educator. So there will be 20 students and 20 teachers honored. It's a wonderful time. We still need sponsors for that event, and sponsors get to attend and watch this whole thing go down. It's really inspirational. The kids get to say a few words about their choice of teacher, and the teacher gets to say a few words about them. Again, like Les said, and like I said last night, I mean, faith restored in humanity when you see these kids and all the things they're doing. Our future is bright, particularly here in Nacogdoches.
Well, Les, I'll let you get back on if you had additional. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Erin Wyndham, Chair of the Chamber's Education Committee. Last night's noble reception was outstanding. That's not even a big enough word. When I just look around the room and I see the pride on the families' faces, those parents seeing their children cross the stage, that was just magical, the way that the grand ballroom at SFA was decorated. I keep going back to the word pride. It was just a wonderful feeling. Every kid that went across that stage, you could tell they took that handshake and that pat on the back, and you could see it in their faces how special that moment was. So this is very unique to us. School districts around our state don't do this, correct? Noble is something that Nacogdoches has, and we appreciate everything you give to make that happen.
Well, the school districts are very thankful to the chamber for considering this an important thing to do and award these kids in this way and recognize them not only for academics, but for their community service. So Militia, Kelly, Sherry, the whole gang over there, you guys did wonderful. And thank you to Paul and Charlotte for being our name callers. You're good at calling names.
That's great. Okay, Les, did you have anything, or does anyone have a question for the school district? Okay, I guess we will move along back, to Anita Scott. Hello, Anita, with the county's Expo and Civic Center. Congratulations to you on a pro rodeo to remember.
Absolutely. It was fun. It was fast, I'll tell you, but we survived it. It was great. We dealt with a little bit of rain on Thursday and Friday, but we came back strong on Saturday, had a great time. We're looking forward already to next year being the 45th annual, so we're excited about that. But just to give a little report on what happened, we're talking about the youth and stuff. I wanted to share with you guys. A couple of years ago, actually 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I started a program. It's the Youth Ambassador Program, and I actually started it for the Piney Woods Fair and invited the kids to come and be a part of it and you know, volunteer their time, and in return they got a certificate for their hours, and then you know, ride tickets every night and all this kind of stuff. Well, it worked so well that I incorporated into the rodeo, and so the kids, all of the kids from all of the schools are invited to fill out an application, and then they are, you know, an extension of us here at the Expo Center. Well, this year I wanted to make it a little more enticing for the students that participated, and I had a competition with them, and I wanted to do award the Youth Ambassador of the Year. And so out of my own pocket, I had a belt buckle made, and then I gave tokens to all of my employees and the concessions workers, and I made a box for each kid, and the employee could either give the token to the student or put the token in the box. Well, and my granddaughter was one of the youth ambassadors, and she was like the leader, and she worked really, really hard, and she wanted that belt buckle. But there was another student that was working really hard as well. And he actually won it. His name was Skeet Adams, and he's from Douglas. He was the only Douglas student that participated. And I messaged his mom and let her know that he was the recipient of this belt buckle, and she was in tears. And she said, "Thank you so much for this." She said, "You don't know what it means to us and to him." She said, "This is exactly what I was wanting for this, for him to participate and gain just confidence, because he had been putting in his application. He's got his food handler license and stuff, and putting in his application at 8 or 9 different restaurants here in town, and had been passed over because he's such an introvert." She said, and it was very quiet, but he worked so hard. And she said, and this just boosted his confidence. And so I was so proud to be able to just be a small part of that. And, you know, it was exciting. I think that was the best part of my whole rodeo this year, is just knowing that that we touched those students, and I was happy to do that. But anyway, moving forward. So tomorrow we have the R&K Alive After 5 chamber event. I won't give all the details to that, because I'm sure Kelly will want to talk about that at the end. But we're getting ready for that. The room is set up and ready to go. And if you don't come to that, you're going to miss a great time. It's a lot of fun. It's I think one of the biggest chamber Alive After 5s that y'all do. And so it's going to happen right here in the downstairs room. Also tomorrow is SFA is having their equine judging competition during the day. So there'll be 300 or 400 or 500 kids here judging horses. So again, that's going to happen out in the main arena. Then April the 6th is NAC Brew Club. So you don't want to miss that either. That's going to happen in the downstairs room. April the 9th through the May the 3rd, K-12 Virtual Learning Academy will be here. And April the 18th through the 21st is Evans United Spring Carnival. It's happening out in the Midway. April the 20th, we have Old Stone Fort Bike Ride benefiting the, it's Old Stone Fort Bike Ride benefiting the rodeo, the Rotary Club. I'll get it out in a minute. And then April the 20th is Nacogdoches High School Prom. And again, April the 26th and the 27th is Dudette Barbecue benefiting the United Way. So that's what we have going on. I didn't give all the details of it because there's a lot of details for every event. But if you go to our website at nacexpo.net, or you can also follow us on our Facebook page. We try to keep all of the events updated on there as well. And then, of course, if that fails, give us a call here at the Expo Center. It's 936-564-0849. And that's all I have, Kelly.
Well, I'll just share that Alive After 5 with you, Anita. I mean, we're all a partner in this, right?
Right.
I know Jimmy Day has been working hard on this one. We know Danny Merrill will be there because he said it this morning on the radio from Town Square Media. They're going to have live entertainment, of course, great food. I believe Grando is going to be handling that. Door prizes and innovative new beers that they will be bringing. So please join us 5:30 to 7 again at that Expo Center out on the Loop. It's going to be an exciting time.
Lots of space, lots of parking. It's going to be great.
All right. Any other questions for Anita? I think we'll move. Yes, go ahead, Kayla.
I have the Dudette Barbecue. There's going to be a max of 40 competition teams. And then there has not been any discussion on the max of vendors. So we're still taking the vendors for that.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we have Sawmill Sixth Man represented by Gary Lee Ashcraft. You have a report for us today.
And Asher Ashcraft, but he's in timeout. Yeah, Sawmill Sixth Man, like other NILs, is pretty interesting these days. We've got some players in the portal. Some have gone ahead with it, some have not. The big emphasis for us is recruiting money to help Coach Keller and his department to recruit new basketball players and have the money to compete with the other schools that maybe have a little bit more money. And that's why I was asking about the AD and hopefully to get a little help from the University of Texas. But we're doing well. We have massively flooded the Facebook nation with posts about what we're doing. I think as yesterday, we had 10 new members of the Sawmill Six Man. So if anybody has any questions about Sawmill Six Man, I really appreciate being a part of this, Kelly. But if anyone has any questions about Sawmill Six Man, give me a call and I'll, it's 936-552-6408. You can see that on the screen. But anyway, thank you all very much for allowing me to speak about Sawmill Six Man. Any questions? I hope not. Bye-bye.
Well, enjoy your reports and bring along Asher whenever possible. That's fine. Any other good news anyone would like to share with the group? I'll go ahead and let you know, along with that exciting Alive After 5, we have other things happening this week with the Chamber of Commerce. We have a ribbon cutting this afternoon with Janet Melendez. She's the owner of Unlimited Designs. That's the business out on the North Loop there, and she has new and state-of-the-art equipment to show off. So 4:30 today, please join us, as well as another ribbon cutting on Thursday at 4:30 with a new business in town, Advanta Genetics. The chamber will be closed for Good Friday, just so you know. And we're looking forward to that restful weekend because we will be holding the Lone Star Legislative Summit on April 4th and 5th. There is a full list of speakers involved that would include our Senate and our House of Representatives. Our keynote will be U.S. Congressman Pete Sessions, who will be speaking at the lunch on Friday, April 5th. We also have our Texas Land Commissioner, Dr. Dawn Buckingham, joining us for the breakfast, and she'll be speaking there. A lot of other folks from state agencies will be at the Lone Star giving some updates as well. I think the main focuses for this year's summit is going to be education, healthcare, transportation, infrastructure, and energy. But of course, there's always chances for Q&A, even out in the hallways. That's where a lot of important conversations happen. We'll have a reception on Thursday night. If you're interested in any of this, again, you can find it at nacogdoches.org, details, including the agenda, but you can call the chamber or stop by and visit with us here, and we can help you out. So again, nacogdoches.org, great resource for information for our chamber and other community events. Anyone else have another shout out? All right, well, we're going to stop the recording. We're going to get on with our business day. We hope to see you at Unlimited Designs and around town. Thank you all for joining us.